Downhill is often called the F1 of mountain biking, and for good reason, Neil.
Yeah, the bikes are built for performance, speed and racing, of course, and in my opinion, they're the coolest looking bikes out there as well. So let's take a look at 5 of the coolest new downhill bikes from 2022.
Right then, first up, Neil, is the privateer's choice, I like to think, the Commencal Supreme V5.
It is, all the privateers seem to choose this bike. However, of course, it's had lots of pro success with people like Henri Pirion, Thibaut Dupré, Miriam Nicole, Camille Balanche, Benoit Coulange this year. This bike was actually out 2022, but released to the public in 23.
Yes, and it actually sort of marked an era where they moved to a 6-bar linkage design, allowing Commencal to actually fine-tune this bike even more than they already could.
Actually, the V5 main pivot moves slightly lower, so bucking and trend high pivots than the V4. And, talking about Formula 1, I like the sort of air scoop that directs the cooler air
Clever.
to the rear disc.
Hey, minute gains, right?
Also, they have that ability to tune the sort of rear end stiffness with that sort of crossbar across the seat.
Yeah, you could change the bridge, couldn't you?
I like that. It's very sort of high-end, racy. I quite like the way you can tune the bike. Never mind geometry, but also how it flexes and how it feels. Prices start from £4,900, $5,700 or €4,750.
Okay, Neil, this next one is the icon, I'm calling it. It's the Giant Glory Advanced Legends Edition.
Well, I particularly like it because of the colours. Obviously, it's a brand new bike, but it was harking back to the turn of the century, 99-2000, the Giant ATX1 in that yellow, blue and red, ridden by people like Miles Rockwell and Rob Warner as well.
Yeah, tidy bit of kit, full carbon construction, obviously, and this says their all-new Maestro 4-bar sort of linkage suspension design with 200mm of travel as well. Formidable.
Comes with mixed wheel size, as a lot of downhill racers use now, but also fully 29 capable if you want to run the big wagon wheel on the rear. There's a host of adjustment options, including adjustable headset cups, 3-position Maestro flip chip in the rocker, and a rear dropout flip link too.
Yes, now you can get this as a frame only in that Legends Edition colourway, throwing it back, but they also do full builds as well in more standard colours if that's your cup of tea.
Well, the kids buying them these days aren't going to remember that bike from
That's way before their time.
Even though it was a legendary bike, it completely changed how good downhill bikes were at the time.
Pricing wise, well, the frame set is going to set you back just shy of £6,000 or €6,200. Okay, Neil, this next one is a proper head turner. It is, of course, the Pivot prototype downhill bike.
Yeah, there's a couple of fancy looking prototypes around the downhill pits here. Super exciting. That makes it feel like a motorsport as well, where there's cool stuff you can't buy that under the pros. Obviously, there's a Specialized with a similar construction to this bike, but this is the one that I spent my time salivating over, where it looked with the polished CNC sort of parts, the lugs, and then the kind of standard size carbon tubes. It's kind of why these people are doing it, these brands are doing it. It kind of makes it much easier to play around with geometries rather than having a super expensive carbon mould and getting it wrong.
That's it.
It's good for giving it to the pros, trying it out, and then tweaking it from there.
Yeah, it had a DW6 linkage system, and actually, interestingly, they used a flex stay instead of a pivot.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I know a lot of cross-country bikes use that as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, a much burlier version. But yeah, it's not something you see in downhill all too often, so that was quite exciting to see.
Actually, only a couple of these prototype bikes knocking around this year. Jacob Jewett and Bernard Kerr, the team manager, player manager, riding that one, whereas the rest of the team are on the original Pivot Phoenix, which has a kind of more traditional layout. The prototype bike has actually gone for a more high pivot and a rearward axle path on it.
Yeah. It's also dual chain, kind of like the old Brooklyn Machine Works of old.
Oh, and the Cannondale Fulcrum, I think it's called.
Yeah, good memory there, mate. Now, obviously, when it comes to pricing, no idea, but it's not going to be cheap.
Well, you can't buy it, so good luck.
That too. Next, Neil, the Value King.
Yeah, well, in contrast to the unobtainable Pivot, you have the Rose Scrub, which was launched this year by Rose Bikes, direct-to-consumer German brand. Offers great value, aluminium frame, and what I love about this is it comes in 3 colours: vanilla, cherry, or diet.
Yeah, coil or air shock on this bike, and actually touting it as sort of a bike that can do a couple of different things. So it could be a downhill bike with a dual crown fork on, or you could adjust it and you can have a playful park bike with a single crown fork on there as well.
Yeah, it's the cheapest bike on our list, starting at €3,299, and kind of you might expect it to weigh a bit more than the others as well. It comes in at about £40 or 18 kilograms.
Yeah,
but it's got some neat touch as well. It's got a magnetically attached fender for the shock, as well as external brake hose, and actually goes behind sort of a down tube protector.
That's quite cool,
super nice to work on.
And it does have some adjustability as well, doesn't it? So you can adjust the headset, so you can have either a 63 or 64 degree head angle on there, which is pretty slack. That's a good number. I mean, it's a solid build for the money, right?
It is, unfortunately not available in the UK, but available almost everywhere else.
Yeah, builds start from €3,300. Right, Neil, last but by no means least is the puzzler's choice, the brand new Santa Cruz V10.8.
Yes, it's a formidable lineage of downhill bikes. Of course, yeah, the 10.8, the latest one, ridden by their team, people like Greg Minnaar. And Laurie Greenland and Jackson Golston, junior to elite phenom, who almost won the World Cup overall in his first go. Pretty amazing. Greg runs his bike full 29, one of the few people to do it, and then obviously the rest of the team run him in mixed wheel size.
Yes. Now, this bike did actually only come out in November, so it's probably the freshest on the list as well.
It is, although the team have been racing them all year. I remember seeing it at the pre-season race at Lord. Very good looking, actually. Kind of the aesthetics have changed a little bit on this bike. Seat tail looks different, kind of slim down tubing. Some slight tweaks to the VPP, the virtual pivot point suspension design as well. Yeah,
I mean, on top of that, bear with me, people, because we got all sorts of adjustment going on this one. So we have got adjustable reach headset cups, adjustable chainstay length, and a 3-way lower link flip chip.
Oh, didn't know that actually. Also, loads of attention to detail. As expected, this is a top end. You'll see the price in a second. But it's got integrated fork bumpers, down tube protector, rear fender, fully guided internal cable routing with additional external guides at the pivots.
But I mean, it does seem that this bike is covering all the bases, and of course, that does come at a cost. So bikes are going to start full builds from £7,000 or €7,700 or $6,800.
Oosh. Yeah. There's some of our favourites. So I've got to have some notable mentions as well. The Nukeproof Descent obviously had some great success there. That was ridden the year before, to be fair, but you could buy it at the public last year. Ronan Dunn had some amazing rides on that bike. The Gammock Sago that you got to go on.
Yeah, I think, electronic belt-driven gearbox. It's pretty special. Definitely worth a mention.
And that specialised prototype. I wonder what's happened to that. I wonder if that's coming next year. I'm expecting to see that bike become production. If it looks the same, who knows? Yeah.
Anyway, let us know in the comments down below. Have we missed any off?
Yeah, and let us know what you think is the coolest if you had to pick one.
Right, but from us for now, cheers everybody.